I'm John Cole. I'm the historian of the Library of Congress, and I'm also fortunate enough to be the director of the library's Center for the Book. It is a part of the Library of Congress, a small 4-employee catalytic part of the Library of Congress that promotes books and reading. The Library of Congress itself was created in 1800 when Congress was about to move to the new capital city of Washington. Its first home, in fact, was the Capitol itself, where it existed all the way until 1897, when today's Jefferson Building was open. Jefferson is a key person for our institution because it was in 1815 that he sold his personal library to the Library of Congress, which had been destroyed by the British in the fire a year earlier, and his new collection covered many subjects and established the idea that we are a universal library covering all subjects and most formats. And Jefferson said, you should be sharing this universal library with the country, and that's the key to how we became a national library, and in fact the basis for the internationalism that developed here at the Library of Congress after World War II. We outgrew the Jefferson Building almost immediately. A second building, first called the Annex Building, later the John Adams Building, Adams being the person who signed the bill in 1800 creating the Library of Congress. It opened to the public in 1939, and we now have the James Madison Memorial Building, opened in 1980. Madison also was a man of the book. He proposed the first Library of Congress way back in the Continental Congress before we even got started in our Library of Congress career in Washington, D.C. Today the Library of Congress is the largest library in the world. It also is an important cultural institution. It's unique in several ways. One is that it cuts across all parts of the U.S. government. The President appoints the Librarian of Congress. It's the Congress, the Senate, that confirms the Librarian of Congress. And in this century, at least, Librarians of Congress have been people, men, scholars, all men so far. That will change someday, I know, I hope. That scholars that have led the way in different fields. Daniel Boorstin, who created the Center for the Book in 1975, shortly after 1977, shortly after he became librarian in 75, looked outward and built up the library's name. Dr. James Billington, the present librarian, is a scholar of Russia who, as you might imagine, has emphasized international services and the international roles of the Library of Congress.